What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'm joined with Robin, and today we are talking about why the hell is crypto crashing? Whether you've been living under a rock or you just can't make sense of what the hell is going on, well, fear not, we will tell you everything going on. We're going to talk about the happenings, why crypto is crashing. Can we expect a stop soon? So let's not waste any time. So if you're not familiar with the situation, Lynn Alden put out an amazing tweet thread. Make sure to go follow her on Twitter. But what ended up happening is FTX was in trouble. Alameda was in trouble. The FTT token started crashing. FTX had liquidity issues. They halted withdrawals. They asked CZ from Binance to help out, to which Binance signed a letter of intent to purchase FTX.com. Not FTX.us, but FTX.com. And so you're wondering, well, how the hell did FTX get into the situation? If you're not familiar, they do have a research arm that is also owned and controlled by Sam Bankman-Fried, who is the founder and CEO of FTX. What they were doing essentially was what's called a flywheel scheme. And so Lynn Alden gives us a great analogy. Imagine McDonald's makes its own money. Let's call them clown bucks. They keep most of it and sell some to the market. McDonald's then uses their remaining clown bucks as collateral for actual loans. And then people remember that clown bucks aren't real. And then Starbucks comes and market sells the clown bucks they were holding while reminding the market that clown bucks aren't really a thing. McDonald's balance sheet is trashed with their clown bucks wiped out. Anyway, that's what happened in crypto land this week. That is in reference to the FTT token. And if you haven't been following us or the news, the vast majority of Alameda Research's balance sheet and their assets is denominated in the FTT token, which this is old. FTT token currently now is sitting at, if we swap over to CoinMarketCap, last time we saw this, it was under $5. Let's take a look at where FTT token is now. It is currently sitting at $4.62, down 80% over the last 24 hours. Robin, what are your thoughts about the analogy? Anything you wanna add to what Lynn Alden said, or to how Alameda and FTX got themselves into the situation?
It's comical, if not appropriate, that they deemed McDonald's and clown bucks as the go-to reference, because the token was laughs and giggles, and it was that of a clown show. And so this is just a stark reminder that without utility, the price is simply speculation. And who has the most to gain but VC firms and also exchanges when it comes to their tokens? I think this puts into fresh perspective the token, an exchange token, right? You know, Binance Smart Change has expanded on utility, but for a long time, they were, the Binance to BNB token was solely used inside the platform, and you would also get cheaper transaction fees by holding X amount of tokens. But without utility, these tokens essentially are useless. We're seeing the Kronos chain with crypto.com, but FTT realistically lacked utility. And you see that, when you have an opportunity to gain the system with your own token by manipulating it, that's what they did. And now you're seeing the ramifications of what happens on the back end with these crap order books, or with this inflated valuation of your company, and how you leverage debt across an asset that realistically has no value. And I know a lot of people try to FUD cryptocurrency, say, hey, where does it get its value from? Well, I think this is a good example of where does it get its value from. Because without audit, without transparency, without accountability, you see the manipulation when it comes from the whales, and whales play whale games. And now whales also fall harder than anybody else, which is what we've seen.
Now, if you are a FTT token holder, consider your money gone. As tough as it is to say, and as tough as it is to hear. If you have money on FTX, don't automatically assume if there's any way for you to get your money out, do it. Now, I know withdrawals are paused, but maybe by stroke of luck, I don't know, you put a withdrawal order in and it gets fulfilled. But just know this, it is not a done deal. Binance buying FTX and coming to the rescue is not a done deal. If you thought Twitter was a done deal when Elon Musk put the bid in, we saw what happened there, right? There's something called due diligence. When a company signs a letter of intent, like Binance did to acquire FTX, there's a clause in there. They have a certain amount of time to do due diligence. And what do you think they do? They look at their balance sheet. They look at their profit and loss statements. They look at what tokens they're holding, what financial shape the company is in. And for all we know, and it is a real possibility, you guys, that CZ looks at FTX, looks at Alameda, and says, this is worse than I thought. Sorry, guys, I cannot put my hard-earned money into this company. Sorry. Pulls out. That would be the doomsday scenario. Now, Robin, if that happens, well, before I ask you, actually, sorry. I do want to share, this is breaking from Bitcoin Archive. We talked about this on our live show today, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out, join us Monday through Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. U.S. regulator is monitoring the Binance bid for FTX. We see this happening across traditional business, traditional finance. When T-Mobile brought out Sprint, it wasn't like, okay, we'll buy you for this much, done deal. No, it has to get approved. And a judge or a municipality can come in and say, or a regulator in this case, can come in and say, no. That puts the market overall at risk. That puts investors at risk, and that creates essentially a monopoly. So you have CZ possibility of pulling out. You have a regulator possibly saying, right? So it's far from a done deal. What are your thoughts, Robin? Do you think, is it more likely that CZ goes through? What are the likelihood of a regulator stepping in and saying no? What are your thoughts?
Man, the SEC, first of all, has got to be looking at this with
Licking their
all
chops.
kinds of different directions and opportunities to fine and levy new rules and constitute new legislation. We've seen time and time again when there's an opportunity for the SEC to step up and find somebody, sue somebody, or pursue litigation, they have not fallen short on expectations. I would expect the SEC to evaluate this. I mean, the FTT token, this is prime for discussion when it comes to legislators. I'm sure Elizabeth Warren is going to have a lot to say when it comes to cryptocurrency regulation in the future. I'm sure she's going to be referencing the FTT token, FTX, and the acquisition of FTX with Binance, and what the implications of that'll look like moving forward. There's obviously been some transparency issues when it comes to cryptocurrency exchanges. Will we see a change in that in the future? And then on top of that, we had Bitcoin hit the bottom, bounced right at 17.5 once again.
Actually, Rob, it got down to 17.2.
17.2. So we put in a new bottom via a candle wick. But, where is Bitcoin going? That's what I want to discuss. Obviously, not trying to short sell the acquisition or the proposed buying of FTX by Binance, but
Let me ask you.
we are in uncharted territories. We haven't been this low in over 2 years. And so we've been in the depths of the bear market. Who knows how long we're going to be here? We have uncertainty when it comes to who's sitting in political offices because we have elections coming out today. We don't know what the energy crisis is going to look like in the future,
Rob,
supply chains. And
Before you move on from U.S. regulators, okay?
okay.
Isn't it odd that Binance and FTX.com, they're not U.S. companies. They don't operate in the U.S., but a U.S. regulator might try to block it.
That's what they do. They overreach and meddle into everything. They feel, the branches of government, they, whether it's the Treasury Department, the SEC or, the CFTC, they all have input and say into what happens, because at the end of the day, these platforms, even though they might not operate in the US, there's tons of exposure when it comes to US funds and money. And so if you're transacting with US dollars, which, everything is priced in dollars and everything is interconnected, you best believe that if there's a piece of the pie as far as revenues via fines and lawsuits, the government will step up and collect their due process, right? And so don't think that just because you operate outside the U.S., that the U.S. Legislation is not gonna be overarching into those sectors. Now, I'm telling you, a couple months from now, we're gonna be discussing Elizabeth Warren, maybe Janet Yellen, other active, outspoken anti-crypto legislators are gonna be referencing FTX in the future. I'm telling you, it's happening. And whether or not it is something they can leverage to make a good argument, that's to be seen. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are just say, hey, you know what? Another one bites the dust. Binance, saved the day, and crypto markets are fine. We're proceeding, with as is. So
let's so to wrap this video up, let's take a look at what has happened as far as price, as far as liquidations, and then we'll wrap this thing up, you guys. So taking a look at liquidations, this is sourced from CoinGlass. Over the last 4 hours, there has been close to $500 million that has been liquidated out of the cryptocurrency markets, with 75% of those liquidation being longs. Coming in at number one, you have Bitcoin, 140 million. Coming in at number two, Ethereum, 124 million, followed by Solana and FTT. Now, you might be asking, why is Solana taking such a big L? If you haven't been following us, we've talked about this. Alameda Research, their second largest holding outside, and this includes FTX as well, outside of the FTT token, is Solana. They were a large investor in Solana. They hold a lot of their tokens. And so they're at a point now where they're trying to defend their FTT token, but they're not going to sell that to get more money. They can't raise more money through investment because no one's going to invest in Alameda Research or FTX at the current moment for obvious reasons. So what's the next biggest bag? It's Solana. So that is partly why. And so if you take a zoom out to the 24-hour, close to $1 billion in cryptocurrency has been liquidated. If we take a look at the overall coin market cap, there are some coins that are moving in the last hour. FTT token is actually up close to 10% over the last hour. Algorand is bouncing back nicely, up 3%. Same thing with Mina. And Internet Computer, also known as ICP. Biggest losers, we have Convex Finance, BitTorrent, Decred. And just to kind of take a look at the Bitcoin chart here, this is the 5-minute chart for Bitcoin. We did break above this trend line. So for the time being, in the very short term, it looks like 17,800 might be a local bottom. If we do test this trend line again, you're looking at 17,500, which we should see a bounce to the upside. If you're invested in Solana, we did have this drawn on here from earlier. It was a falling wedge that it did break out of. So again, short term, looking good. Short term, $22.20 support for Solana, but still.
Remember, FTX was in bed with Solana. They were tied to the hip. Solana was the biggest backer. FTX was the biggest backer of Solana. And there was tons of institutional money that all happened to be intertwined with Alameda Research. And so with the failure of Alameda Research, you're going to get an immense amount of sell pressure on Solana for the simple fact that they hold a crazy amount of tokens. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but their liquid supply that they have liquidated. The illiquid supply is going to be sold off because the company's going to go under, because their balance sheet is mainly comprised of FTT token, which is quickly going to zero, and so will the company.
Guys, imagine you had a $1 billion portfolio and 800,000 or 800 million of that was one coin, and that coin is down 80%.
Done. Alameda Research, done. All their tokens they're holding gonna be liquidated. They didn't have a lot of Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and so all of those early investment rounds, all those seed investments, all those tokens that they're holding are gonna be sold at extreme loss at
fire sale rates.
Yeah, fire sale, and you're gonna see sell pressure on those projects. Solana being front and center. There's also exposure to a lot of other projects, which if you're interested, please go take a look at those. See if you have exposure in those projects. Get ahead of the game because those are probably going to tank via the sell pressure.
Also, for a little nugget of info for those of you that are still around this video, 3 coins to be careful, okay? Because we've done digging, we found Alameda's portfolio. They were huge investors in Matic, they were huge investors in Near Protocol, and they were huge investors in Solana. If you're holding any of those 3 tokens, expect major volatility. Not saying it's going to happen. They might not even have any of those tokens on the balance sheet still, but we have to assume the worst. Expect the worst, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That'll do it for the video today, guys. Make sure to come join us Monday through Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our daily live show. Also, check out all of our social medias. Follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. On behalf of myself and Robin, thank you guys so much. We will see you in the next video. Peace.